Following the reduction of budget for the health sector by 20% for the upcoming fiscal year, the Ministry of Health and Population has said that the ongoing projects are likely to be affected and delayed. The government has allocated 83.99 billion rupees for the health sector for the upcoming fiscal year. Good evening, I'm Sarah Chitrakar and these are the headlines of the hour. An armed group robs 3.8 million rupees from the branch of NMB Bank in Mahottari, rural municipality of Mahottari. Investigation into the heist underway. Parliamentary Hearing Committee endorses internal working procedure. Calls for grievances on Hari Krishna Karki recommended for Chief Justice. Speaker urges no time wasting. Ukrainian drones strike Moscow and get shot down. Early morning drone assault said to have injured 2 people. Kyiv hit for the 3rd time in 24 hours. And Nepal women's national cricket team secure a 7-wicket win over Malaysia in the second match of the 5-match T20 International Series. 3rd match slated for Thursday. Prime Minister Pushpa Kamal Dahal has assured of reviving investigations into the Royal Palace massacre with the objective of reaching conclusions. Addressing the joint meeting of the advisors of the CPN Maoist Centre and the Senior Communist Forum in Kathmandu today, Prime Minister Dahal expressed the commitment of investigating the Royal Palace massacre and Gaur massacre with the objective of reaching conclusions. Prime Minister Dahal has also added that properties of all high-ranking officials after the 1990 popular movement would be investigated. Meanwhile, Premier Dahal has also committed of holding discussions with the aim of securing guarantee for the electricity market during his India visit, which begins tomorrow. Industrialists and businesspersons of Eastern Nepal have recommended Prime Minister Pushpa Kamal Dahal to make his India visit productive in terms of easing trade and increasing support in the financial sector. They have urged Prime Minister Dahal also to focus on attracting Indian investment in the country. India has been creating obstructions for the Eastern Nepal's exports, including cardamom, ginger, tea and vegetables, among other goods, in the name of quality standards. Quality test laboratories and plant quarantine checkposts are located in Patna and Kolkata. Testing quality in Patna and Kolkata take a long period of time while also damaging the vegetables and fruits. Therefore, the industrialists and business persons have recommended Prime Minister Dahal to hold talks with his Indian counterpart on easing the export of goods certified by Nepali laboratories. Saying that Nepal is to produce electricity exceeding the local demand, they have also urged the Prime Minister to reach an agreement for power export to Bangladesh and selling electricity to India. The Eastern industrialists and businesspersons have said that industries and businesses operating with Indian investment were doing well in Nepal and have called for prioritizing increasing investment from the southern neighbors. As the time for renewal of the trade and transit treaties has also inched closer, it is imperative for the Prime Minister to state Nepal's stances with clarity to reap maximum benefits from the 2 treaties. Speaker of the House of Representatives, Devraj Khemere, has called for a hearing of major works, including appointment of a Chief Justice at the earliest. At the first meeting of the Parliamentary Hearing Committee held in Singadarbar today, Speaker Khemere said that the Chief Justice had to be appointed immediately. Despite the recommendation of Acting Chief Justice Hari Krishna Karki by the Constitutional Council on the 28th of April, a hearing is yet to be held in this regard. Meanwhile, National Assembly Chair Ganesh Timalsina said that questions were raised regarding past appointments and called for special attention during the hearings for appointments at constitutional bodies. With the hearing committee endorsing its working procedure today, path has opened for the procedure of appointment of the Chief Justice. Grievances can be filed against Karki, who has been recommended for Chief Justice within 10 days. The hearing committee was formed only on Sunday, as a power share was yet to be decided even in 5 months of the elections of the House of Representatives. Following the reduction of budget for the health sector by 20% for the upcoming fiscal year, ongoing projects are likely to be affected. 103.18 billion rupees was allocated for health in the ongoing fiscal year, but has been reduced to 83.99 billion rupees for the upcoming fiscal year. With reduction of budget, the Ministry of Health and Population has said that it will be difficult to complete the construction of 5 to 15 bed capacity hospitals at 322 locations. The ministry has added that the government could not shoulder the responsibility of the health of the public if at least 10% of the budget was not allocated for health, which would compel the public to fund treatments on their own. Despite the Ministry of Health calling for allocation of 10% of the total budget, it has not been able to spend the budget allocated for the ongoing fiscal year. With only a month and a half remaining for the conclusion of the ongoing fiscal year, only around 60% of the allocated budget has been spent. The ministry has estimated around 80% capital expenditure by the mid of July. Challenges in spending budget has surfaced after the ministry had failed in formulating plans and projects in a timely manner. The government has not introduced new programs in the health sector. Experts are of the opinion that improvement in the health sector is unlikely as budget has been allocated by including the ongoing projects. Hearing in the case against cricketer Sandeep Lamichani, who is alleged of raping a minor, was not held today as well. Today's hearing was halted after Kathmandu District Court Judge Shankar Bahadur Rai said that the hearing would be held only after the procedures for application from the victim on interim compensations were concluded. The hearing was scheduled at a Rai's bench. Lamichani was alleged of raping a 17-year-old minor and a complaint was filed against him at the Gaushala Police Circle on the 6th of September last year. Lamichani was arrested on the basis of the complaint on the 6th of October, while the district court had sent him to judicial custody for investigations. However, the Patan High Court released Lamichani at a bail of 2 million rupees on the 12th of January earlier this year. Customs and excise duty on electric vehicles ranging from 50 to 100 kilowatt capacity have been increased from the new budget. Prior to this, customs and excise duty stood at 10% on such vehicles. The government has now set 5% customs and 10% excise duty. Meanwhile, customs and excise duty on electric vehicles between 100 and 200 kilowatt capacity have been reduced from 30% to 20%. Likewise, excise duty has been increased from 5% to 15% for stones used in building memorials and buildings. Customs of sugar purified through chemical procedures have been reduced by 10% and set at 30%. The government has also increased the excise duty of different brands of alcoholic beverages by 5 to 7 rupees. An armed group has robbed NMB Bank's branch in Mahottari Rural Municipality. The Assistant Chief District Officer of Mahottari, Upendra Nyupani, said that the armed group of 4 individuals robbed the money from the bank's cash counter. The Superintendent of Police, Prakash Malla, said that the armed group had taken around 3.5 million rupees. Meanwhile, police is searching for the members of the armed group. A mother and her son have died after falling from a cliff in Jaula Thai of Maskharka in Benighat, Rorang Rural Municipality, Ward number 2 of Thading. According to the area police office, Gajuri, the deceased have been identified as 19-year-old Apsara Chepang and her 2-year-old son Sajan. Police have informed that Apsara fell from the cliff during her effort to save her son, who had plunged from the edge. Meanwhile, police have said that the body of 24-year-old of Romi Shah Thakuri, who had gone missing while swimming at the Trishuli River, was found near Chalise of Gajuri Rural Municipality today. Time now for our segment, Public Pulse, where you text us with your opinion.
public poll.
Here's the question: why have public expectations not been met even after 15 years of republicanism? The options are A. Irresponsible leadership, B. Traditional mindset, and C. Requires patience. Voting is on. Type any WS, select your option A, B or C and send it to 34001 to share your opinion with us. Two sons of a single family have died because of snake bite in Dudhauli municipality, ward number 1 in Sindhuli. Police have identified the deceased as sons of Ganesh Pahadi, 13-year-old Girish and 7-year-old Grishma. The two sons who had slept with their mother were found unconscious this morning and were immediately taken to the primary health center in Sirthauli. However, they had to be recommended to Janakpur, where they were pronounced dead by the doctors. Meanwhile, 15-year-old Sangyog Dahal has died after drowning in the Narayani River in Devchuli municipality, ward number 1, Keroni of East Nawalparasi. Dhakal had gone for swimming in the Narayani River yesterday, while his body was found this morning. Time now for international update. Ukrainian drones struck Moscow on Tuesday and were shot down, Russian authorities said, in what one politician called the worst attack on the capital since World War II, while Kyiv was hit for the third time in 24 hours. Since Russia sent troops into its neighbor in February last year, the war has largely been fought inside Ukraine, though Moscow has reported some attacks on its territory, including an alleged assassination attempt against President Vladimir Putin. Moscow Mayor Sergei Sobyanin said the early morning drone assault had injured 2 people, while some residents in 2 lightly damaged apartment blocks were briefly evacuated. Russia's defense ministry said 8 drones were sent by Kyiv and all shot down, though Baza, a Telegram channel with links to the security services, said more than 25 drones were involved. Video on social media showed one apparently being hit with a plume of smoke rising over the Moscow skyline. 2 weeks ago, 2 drones exploded over the Kremlin in an attack Russia also blamed on Kyiv and said was aimed at Putin. At a messy stalemate for most of 2023, with Russian troops occupying some eastern Ukraine regions, the war has killed tens of thousands, uprooted millions, reduced cities to ruins, and caused havoc in the global economy. In Kyiv, Ukrainian defense forces said they shot down more than 20 Iranian-made Shahid drones on Tuesday. 1 person died and 4 were injured when debris from a destroyed Russian projectile hit a high-rise apartment building, sparking a fire, Ukrainian officials said. 2 upper floors of the building were destroyed, with people possibly still under rubble. The Kremlin said today that Russia would take part at the proper level in a planned summit in South Africa of the BRICS nations, responding to a question whether President Vladimir Putin would attend the gathering. Putin has been invited to the summit, even though South Africa would theoretically be required to arrest him under an International Criminal Court warrant issued in March for Putin's arrest for war crimes. Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov said further details would be announced later on the matter. BRICS comprises China, Russia, India, Brazil, and South Africa. Troops with NATO's peacekeeping Kosovo force KFOR stood on guard outside a municipal building in Leposavic in the country's north on Tuesday as local Serbs held a peaceful protest nearby. Leposavic's new mayor was unable to leave his office for more than 24 hours on Monday because of protesters outside. Clashes on Monday saw 30 NATO soldiers and 52 protesters injured in another North Kosovan city, Zivkan, as Serbs protested ethnic Albanian mayors taking office in northern Kosovo after elections boycotted by the Serb community, who are the majority in the area. Kosovo police said in a statement that the situation in the region was fragile but calm. Unrest in the region has intensified since ethnic Albanian mayors took office in northern Kosovo's Serb majority area after April elections. The Serb boycotted, a move that led the US and its allies to rebuke Pristina on Friday. Most Serbs in northern Kosovo have never accepted the country's 2008 declaration of independence from Serbia and still consider Belgrade their capital more than 2 decades after the Kosovo-Albanian uprising against repressive Serbian rule. Meanwhile, French Europe Minister Laurence Boone called for calm in northern Kosovo on Tuesday, a day after 30 NATO soldiers and 52 Serb protesters were injured in clashes that EU and NATO officials said were unacceptable as they urged calm. After being shuttered for over a decade due to Yemen's conflict, the National Museum in Sana'a has opened its doors to the public for a period of 2 weeks. Sana'a Museum was closed in 2012 following the uprising against the rule of then-President Ali Abdullah Saleh, and it remained closed due to the ensuing war. The museum's deputy director, Abdullah Isaac, said the museum reopened to display ancient artifacts that had been recovered by authorities from smugglers. He said the museum houses about 2,000 pieces of artifacts that have been returned in the last 15 years. Museum officials said part of the reason the museum remained closed for so long was to ensure the protection of the artifacts, especially during the wartime, as well as the lack of an operational budget. Time now for sports update.
Sports news.
Nepali women's national cricket team have secured a 7-wicket win over Malaysia in their second 2020 international match played today to square the 5-match series at 1-all. In the match played at the UKM YST Cricket Oval in Bangi, Malaysia, the host won the toss and elected to bat, where they were restricted to 97 runs for the loss of 5 wickets in 20 overs. Mas Elsa top scored with 28 runs, while Juan Julia and Winfred Durasingham scored 20 runs each. Skipper Rubina Chetri picked 2 wickets for Nepal, while Kavita Kumar and Indu Burma shared a wicket apiece. In reply, Nepal chased the target in 17.3 overs as they finished with a score of 103 runs for the loss of 3 wickets. Rubina remained unbeaten at 29 runs. Kavita Kumar scored 26. Sarita Ranamagar made 23, while Bindu Rao added 17 runs for Nepal. Elsa, Alisa, Niknoor, Atela and Durasingham picked 1 wicket each for Malaysia. Nepal had lost the first match of the 5-match series by 5 wickets yesterday. Third match of the series is slated for Thursday. All preparations for the Sokla Rock Climbing Festival, which is set to be held for the first time in Sokla of Dolakha, Bhimeshwar Municipality, Ward Number 2, have been completed. More than 200 climbers are expected to participate at the festival. According to organizers, Soklaswari Tourism Development Society, all required technical preparations and safety measures for the rock climbing festival have concluded. The organizers have added that the location would also serve as a training facility for Nepal Army, Armed Police Force and the Nepal Police. That's all for the moment. Our next English bulletin will be at 10:30 tonight. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.